Welcome. Today we're counting down our picks for the best split-screen racing games that you should check out, and without further ado, let's dive right in. Asphalt Legends Unite. Before we continue, I must let you know that this video focuses on games with a local multiplayer feature where you can play against your friends to have a good time together. So, if you don't have friends, skip this one because you'll feel bad about yourself. Instead, go play some hardcore racing simulators, because they are better suited for you. Anyway, as you can see, this game looks ridiculous and fun at the same time. And the good thing is, it supports up to 4 players locally, even on the Switch. So yeah, definitely grab this one.
Ready, set,
Cruis'n Blast. Alright, if you remember spending your coins on Cruis'n USA or Cruis'n World from the 90s, you'll probably like this one too because it's the latest game in the Cruis'n series. The game was originally released for arcade machines back in 2017, but a version for the Switch with additional modes, cars, and tracks was released in 2021. And you know what? The game supports up to 4 players, making it perfect for game nights where you'll pull insane stunts with your friends, especially if you only own a Switch. So, if you're an old-timer, this one's a no-brainer. Road Redemption. Now, this game is here to scratch that road rash itch with a vengeance. Imagine racing at insane speeds, smashing your friends to bits with various weapons, all set in a gritty, post-apocalyptic world. Not only that, the controls are tighter than your favorite pair of jeans, and the combat, oh boy, it's satisfyingly brutal and fun. And with local multiplayer for up to 4 players, you can definitely have a crazy amount of fun with your friends. So, if you want to play games while screaming at each other, this is the game. Team Sonic Racing. Even though this game is constantly compared to its predecessor, which is the Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, it's still a great racer. And since it's available on all modern platforms, maybe it's time to move on and give it a shot. But unlike most kart racers, this one features a unique team-based co-op mechanic that forces players to work together to win. And with support for up to 4 players, I think it's the perfect local multiplayer racing game for game nights, especially if you want a kart racer that's not Mario Kart.
Next one won't be so nice.
Grip Combat Racing. Now, this one is basically a modern take on old-school futuristic racing games like Roll Cage or Firebugs, but now you can experience it in much crisper visuals. However, what makes this game different from other futuristic racing games is that this one is not an anti-gravity racing game, unlike Wipeout or Redout or basically the average futuristic racing game. Instead, the cars actually have wheels, though sci-fi elements are still present, such as driving on walls or even upside down. Anyway, the Switch version supports only 2-player multiplayer, but still, it's a great game if you want something new. Lego 2K Drive. With this game, it's a hit or miss. If you really don't care about playing a cartoony racing game designed for kids, then you'll enjoy this one. But if you and your friends are self-proclaimed Sigma males who needs to play some hardcore sim to feel manly, then obviously skip this one. Anyway, as you can see, this is basically the crew games with cartoony visuals and fun arcade-like driving. And you know what? You and your buddy can even team up and play the story mode together. It's just a shame that the game only supports 2 players.
That's not nice. I would know.
Disney Speedstorm. This free-to-play game injects new life into the kart racing genre by not only featuring Disney characters but also introducing exciting gameplay mechanics. And unlike other games that rely solely on the Disney brand, this one is actually quite good. For example, in a surprising nod to the Burnout series, players can engage in aggressive maneuvers by ramming opponents into walls. And with a local multiplayer mode that supports up to 4 players, you and your buddies will definitely have a great time. However, the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch versions only support 2-player split screen, so keep that in mind. WRC Generations. Now, if you and your friend want a rally game with a WRC license, which is something games like Dirt Rally just doesn't deliver, then this is the one. The handling isn't fully simulation level, but it's pretty darn close. The cars have significantly less grip, especially on tarmac, making them feel more realistic. But what really steals the show is the stage designs. They look so much more alive and authentic compared to the EA version, and since it's visually demanding, the game only supports 2-player split-screen multiplayer, which is a shame, but still, it's a great game. F1 24. Now, I know the game's rating is much lower compared to last year's iteration, but hear me out. The thing with new F1 games is that they often get rated badly in their early days. However, once the developers fix the bugs and other issues, the ratings usually improve. It's just that most dedicated gamers tend to be harsh on new releases, but end up loving them once the issues are resolved. Anyway, the game only supports 2 players split screen, which sucks. But still, if you want a proper F1 game, this is it. Hotshot Racing. Okay, if you love simple arcade racers with cartoony or low-poly graphics, then this one is a perfect game for you. I mean, just look at it. It's the kind of game you can play on the go or while waiting at the hospital during your visit to your cardiologist. No complex mechanics, no fancy graphics, just a pure, simple, and colorful arcade racer you can enjoy with your kids. And yes, it supports 4-player, split-screen multiplayer. That means now you can finally get your ass whooped by self-proclaimed Sigma male 10-year-olds with infinite aura. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Turbocharged. Now this one is currently the go-to toy car racing game out there. And yes, toy car racing is its own genre, which I'll make a video about later. Anyway, the first game was great and fun, and this one is bigger and better in almost every way. Plus, it's a Hot Wheels game, and I love Hot Wheels games no matter how bad they are. So yeah, I'm totally biased here. However, it only supports 2-player split screen, which is a shame, since this kind of game would benefit more from 4-player support. But still, this is a must-have. MotoGP 24. This one is the go-to MotoGP game for the mainstream audience right now because, obviously, it's the latest. And I gotta say, the new riding model is way more forgiving than in previous years. Last year, you made one little mistake and boom, you were flying off the track. But now, you can actually recover without feeling like the game's out to ruin your day. And obviously, only play this with your friend if you know what you're getting into. It's not the easiest game, but it's not that hard either. With some practice, you can enjoy it together. Blur. Now, this game was one of the go-to arcade racers to play with friends back when split-screen multiplayer was the standard in racing games. It's basically an arcade racing game with power-ups. Think Need for Speed or Burnout mixed with Mario Kart. So yeah, it might look odd compared to modern racing games which focus more on realism and accurate physics. That said, it's still a blast to play with others. That is, if you can get your hands on a copy and make it work. And trust me, it's worth tracking down just to relive the split-screen multiplayer experience. Redout. Alright, if you want to play Wipeout but don't have a PS5 or PS4, or if you want something different than Wipeout, then this is the futuristic anti-gravity arcade racer you need. This game became a hit in the genre by delivering the exhilarating thrill of blazing through a futuristic world at extreme speeds. Overall, it looks stunning, it feels fast, and it is an absolute blast to race sci-fi flying cars while vibing to electronic music from talented artists. So, if you and your buddy are Wipeout fans, getting this one's a no-brainer. Fast RMX. I was going to kick this game out of this list due to it being a Switch exclusive and not that popular, but goddamn, it's just too good to be left out. And yes, I know there are already other anti-gravity racing games in this list, but still, this game offers something different. Think of ice cream that is not vanilla or chocolate. After all, futuristic racers are great for local couch multiplayer since they usually have arcade-like physics, which makes them very accessible to average players. So yeah, you should consider this one, especially if you own a Switch. Circuit Superstars. Some of you might remember those top-down isometric racing games of the 90s and 2000s. And while the genre might not be as big as typical AAA racing games, especially today, some devs are still keeping it alive thanks to its perfect fit for local multiplayer gaming. And what makes this game unique is its approach to motorsport, such as incorporating pit stops and various race types including F1, GT, Rally Raid, Oval, and Dirt Racing. So if you're into motorsports but don't feel like playing a full sim racing game, this is the perfect alternative. New Star GP. Now this is one of the most fun casual F1 racing games out there. It breaks everything down to the basics, just race and win. Suffice to say, it's super easy to learn and incredibly enjoyable. The controls are great, which remind me of the good old days of PS2 racing games. Back then, racing games were straightforward and fun before things got too technical. That said, I do miss a few things, like having a full 20-car grid or the option for longer races. But yeah, racing against your 30-year-old friends like it's 1999 is absolutely fantastic. Dirt 5. The Dirt Rally series is famous for its realistic rally simulation, but this isn't Dirt Rally, it's just dirt. So, if you're a sim racer, this ain't the game for you. This one is built for those who enjoy arcade racing with great graphics. Sure, the rally physics aren't the most accurate, but let's be real, that's not why we play arcade racers, right? And you know what? The game actually supports up to 4-player split-screen multiplayer, which is a rare feature in most AAA racing games nowadays. So yeah, if I were you, I would definitely grab this one. Horizon Chase 2. Now, this game, along with its predecessor, is a retro-styled arcade racing game that perfectly captures what makes retro racing games so addictive while adding modern enhancements. Seriously, the world is colorful and vibrant, the game is easy to pick up and play, and the music takes us back to the old school era. So yeah, it's basically the perfect formula for a fun, casual racing game to play for you and your balding friends. So, if you miss the good old days of simple, fast-paced racers, then this title, along with the first game titled Horizon Chase Turbo, is all you need. Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. Okay, this game is not your typical arcade racer. In fact, it's a kart racer in a league of its own. I know, Mario Kart fans might not like hearing this, but I think this one is better. But seriously, it's really fun to do the power slide and get a boost after doing it perfectly. And for people who have mastered it, driving straight isn't an option anymore. Not only that, if you can master the power slide, winning is almost always guaranteed, especially against your clueless friends in a local couch multiplayer. That is, if you have any friends at all. Ride 5. This one is quite realistic in terms of physics, although the previous game was more realistic. However, since this one is better in almost every way and combines a more forgiving riding experience, I would say that if you're new to the series, this one is an obvious choice. And if you have a friend, a real one I might add, the split screen mode is back in this game, so you're good there. In short, if you're a hardcore player, get Ride 4, but if you have a social life, get this one. Wipeout Omega Collection. Okay, I know we haven't had a new Wipeout game in God knows how many years, but hey, at least we have this compilation. Anyway, this is a remaster of Wipeout HD and Wipeout 2048, now with modern graphics and VR support, which is great if you've got the stomach for it. After all, it's Wipeout. It's supposed to make you feel the rush of high speed and maybe even puke, especially in VR. So, if you and your buddy are up to some extremely high-speed futuristic racing, then definitely grab this one. You won't regret it. Forza Motorsport 7. Alright, some of you might be wondering why I put this game on this list instead of the newer title released in 2023. Well, the latest Forza Motorsport doesn't have split screen because the devs think nobody plays locally anymore, or maybe they just know most modern gamers don't have friends. Anyway, if you want to play a simcade racing game with your buddy who's also into sim or simcade racing, well, this is it, especially if you're an Xbox guy. But just so you know, split screen is absent in the PC version, because PC gamers are even lonelier than console gamers. Gran Turismo 7. First off, this game leans more towards the sim side rather than the arcade side, contrary to what some people say. You'll feel every bit of body roll and every shift in weight. It's like you're really behind the wheel. Moreover, lap times for real-world cars on specific tracks are spot on. That attention to detail is what sets this game apart. Now, let's talk about local multiplayer, which is a great feature considering this game isn't an arcade racer. However, the PS4 version only supports 2 players, which is a shame, but still, it's Gran Turismo. What more do you want? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, I don't think I need to convince anyone that this is a great game. I mean, it's Mario Kart, the most popular kart racer, hell, maybe even the most popular racing game ever, especially among casual players. However, I'm not saying it's my favorite though, because Crash Team Racing will be in my heart forever, but this game is just built different. Nintendo sure knows how to make incredibly fun games for casual players. I mean, just look at their track record of successful games. And as expected, it supports 4-player local multiplayer, which is essential for a game like this. So do you agree with our picks? Check out these other videos from us and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.